Unchained Hearts. I'm also a super soldier and a time traveler, Andromeda 1800. I'm here to change timelines. I'm here to talk to all you that are wondering, well, what the heck am I doing here? What's my purpose? I'm having these weird dreams. I have these superpowers. I feel like a superhero. I feel like, what am I doing? Some people call it an awakening when you understand that this planet is a simulation and we're playing a game. So our mind, right, is eternal. We are eternal. We don't need to, like I say, bend the knee to anything because we're eternal. As long as you find your purpose and you connect with yourself, your true self, and of course we have creation, right? Consciousness, the trees, the plants, the animals. I talk to things and they respond back. So our mind, it's tricky. It could be tricky because our brain sends body signals to our body and it's like, well, I have a pain. And your brain wants to stop you from your mission, but your soul, or your mind, is like, no, man, we gotta go. We gotta go do this. We gotta help humanity. We gotta help, your children, your cousins, your whatever. So anyway, I'm just gonna start real quick on this PowerPoint, and then I'll tell you, I'll have you ask questions, okay? Is that good? Yes, yes? All right. So I'm gonna have to bend down here. Let me move this, guys. Can you guys see better there? Okay, so I'm just gonna do like a quick history because a lot of people ask me, who are you? Like, what do you do? How did you come to an awakening? How do you know you're a super soldier? How did you die and still live? So the bloodlines that I have is O negative. I'm O negative, my mom's O negative, my dad's O negative, my grandfather, paternal O negative, grandmother, paternal O negative, my goodness. My two sisters are O negative. I come from the Merovingian bloodline and the Jahami. So the Merovingian is when they, we'll say they, the Anunnaki made the humans, they crossed us between the Homo erectus and them, the Anunnaki, which is the white, like green eyes, blue eyes, you name it, the supreme beings here, and the ETs. So they're like, let's make a human. And so they made a human. They used their med beds, they made this body, but we came in, our soul is eternal, like I said, so they crossed us, and now we're the 7th generation of humans. They tried the animal portion, they tried all kinds of species, and they're like, okay, we gotta make a human that looks like us. So in Genesis it says, let's make man, 128, 127 says, let's make man in our image, so that's Enki, Enlil. I won't bore you with the details, I know it's deep, and I go deep, but I do want to stay like kind of like for everybody to understand, because I know when I came to all this knowledge, it's like, what? Like I need to take it slow, So I have augmented DNA, which is the gray, alpha, draconian, tall whites, Nephilim, etc. The O negative is used in super soldiers for, okay, so when we go, we'll say to war or battle, the O negative blood types are the true blue bloods, which you just go and you wipe everything out. Then we got the positives, the RH positives, cleaning, doing the endurance part. Because O negative, we're like, come on, let's go do this, F it up and get the job done and we're out of here. Well, the positive, RH positives, they're like, okay, let's book the guys, let's take them to the other ship, let's, do what we have to do. So we both need each other. That's why we have positive, right? Blood type positive and blood type negative. A, B, A negative, O negative. Now the O negative is the universal blood. So we can give blood to everyone, but we can only take in O negative. okay? When I was pregnant and my son and my daughter, hola everyone, because I'm O negative, I had to have the RhoGAM shot when I was pregnant and another RhoGAM shot when they were born because my blood wanted to kill my kids, okay? That's how powerful we are in this body. You know, gotta take care of our thoughts. What are we thinking? Because that's what we're gonna project, right? Okay, so we're gonna go on with the family bloodlines. It is important because they do pick super soldiers that have the abilities and have the royal blood, so that way that the enhancements are faster and quicker, you know? They fragment us and things like that. So I have a great-grandfather, so he was Dr. Francisco Antonio Bartolini Mossot, which is Italian, French, and you'll understand this later when you study your tree, your family tree, like where do I come from, why do I look this way, why do I act this way, things like that. They had a name change, my great-grandfather, when he came from Corsica, because they were after the bloodline. The Merovingian is pretty much, to answer a question, it's pretty much the Mary Magdalene Christos line, the Jewish line, okay? And, okay, so my grandmother, maternal, Spaniard and German. I have German blood on both sides. I have Persian on my dad, Italian, and more French and Spanish. Okay. Ooh, it's hard to read this. So my school professional background, we'll just go into that real quick. Hopefully you can see that. Oh, I can read it here. When we have abilities that the powers that be don't want you to know that you have them, they'll send you to things like ESL. I was in ESL, English as a second language. I was in Head Start at 3 years of age. I learned Spanish first, read, write, and speak, and then I learned English when I was 3. I had to read lips. I can hear it well. I can hear the low tones, the high tones, everything. It's just, I have a lisp. I thought maybe I was dumb, you know, because they had me in these programs. So they said, Vero, because you read.
Same thing happened.
Yeah, right? You can read upside down, backward, everything, right? What I do still is when I write in English, I write it back, like if I was speaking in Spanish, backward. Because in Spanish, compared to English, it's backward. So is the Arameo, the Arabic, and all that stuff. So, and in my freshman year, they said, Vero, you have a 7th grade reading level. And I'm like, really? Okay, I'm going to prove it to myself and to you that I'm smart. Because they make you feel like you're not smart. And so my junior and senior year, I went through AP English, which is advanced placement. I proved it to them. In my junior year at the University of Arizona, I had a 3.0. You know, I was in academic decathlon. They chose me for all kinds of programs. I was in the Wright Brother. I flew a Cessna when I was in junior high. Why, right? I never questioned that. I just thought, oh, wow, this is so cool. Like, because, you know, when you're a kid, you get a certificate and you're like, yeah, man, I did that. And I aced that class, or, you know, I got tutoring and I graduated, right? But it's all a program, because they want to see how smart you are, and they don't want people to know that you have these special abilities, like you can read minds, you can feel frequencies, you can see the future. Can you guys relate? Anyone? Can anyone see the future here? Right? And it's kind of scary, because once you start telling your family, I'm a super soldier, and they're like, what's that? Well, let me show you something. Like Jim Carrey, let me show you something. So 2 Thanksgivings ago, I didn't have a fire, how do you call that, hydrant? I still don't in my apartment. I was alone, I was cooking a ham or turkey, I don't remember. And I opened the oven because it's fuming, right? There's smoke coming out, and I'm like, holy shenanigans. So I open it, and there's a fire. And I'm like, oh my gosh, here we go. So I ordered the fire to simmer down. I saw snow, and I said, You will shut down. Do me a favor and shut down right now, because I don't want my apartment to burn. And it shut down. With water, you can test your abilities with water, right? When you drink water, you know how there's fluoride here in Earth? Because they want us to be dumb. They don't want us to wake up. They want us to have rotten teeth. They give us all the sugar, GMO, corn, you name it. It's like, here, we're gonna add something. And we all know that some of those things are fetus parts. It could be fluoride. It could be nanites. They do the chemtrails and they spray us with chemtrails, and then we're like, why am I acting a certain way? They want to program us to be hateful, to be anyway. So that's why I tell everyone, I advise, take a bath if you can, at least 3 times a week with bath salt, Epsom salt, baking soda, a little bit of apple cider vinegar to let go of those nanites, because those nanites go into your brain, and they want to pretty much just have us not know that we have these superpowers. So, no, I think I'm going too far, am I? Let's see. Yeah, okay, hold on. Okay, so real quick, before I go into all that, that's why I have a PowerPoint, because I'll go bonkers. I'll go to Pluto and back, you know what I mean? All right, so ESL, I had a double minor, Spanish and music. I attempted it, and I got 3.0. U.S. Army Reserve, Realtor, Primerica. I had my own business, home interior, bed, home and garden. I would put up frames. I would make, I don't know how, but I would make these really pretty floral arrangements. And I'm like, how do I do that? How did I do that, right? And so since I was a kid, I wanted to be a police officer. I was in the Army, I was a medic. Since I was a kid, okay, how many of you all grew up with divorced parents, with abuse, right? So I had to call the cops every weekend because my stepfather beat up my mom, and finally I said, I'm gonna be a cop because there's kids like me that are hurting. What can I do to help, right? So I did it. It was really hard, but I did it. Because it's like the good old boy club. You can't say this, you can't tell my wife that I have another wife in Mexico. Things like that, secrets, right? Anyway, I'm already seeing the future of this presentation. I gotta slow down. Okay, so when I was a cop, I got to go up on a helicopter. It was fun. We had a chase. We had to chase 3 vehicles. I was in South Tucson Police, which is the roughest. Okay, it's only 1.8 miles, but we had everything from prostitution, heroin, abuse, domestic violence, you name it, axe fights, knife fights. Okay, so I was in Stargate 1, Looking Glass, Project Montauk Kruger, Monarch Crystal Gates, SOG, which is Special Operations Group or Special Operations Class, Bravo 18. I was told by a high school friend that his best friend remembered me when I was in this program. And I'm like, oh, I didn't know the name. Because when you have awakenings, right, you're like, I know I had this dream, I know I had this experience, I know I was there, it's so real. But you don't know the names, and I'm grateful for James, Ring, Susan, Frank, right, Misha, Penny, Bradley, everyone that's helped me along the way to find out. It's like, what are these programs, right? Because I had dreams of being in a mission in a beautiful mansion. And there is a Catholic priest in front of me. There's a church, and he wants me to perform exorcisms, and I'm like, what? Then I'm being chased in the in the woods by these beings, and I'm like, what is that? Okay, so James Ring said, okay, that's the Shaw House. The first time I told Susan, my first memory ever coming out was Susan Long. I said, hey, Susan, I know you, and I had these dreams of running with files, and I'm in a business suit running with files, and it's the files of Supersoldiers, and I gotta make sure that they know our story, that we're not crazy, you know? They locked me up in the psych ward twice. My ex-husband, unfortunately, because I had a near-death experience, and I'll tell you a little bit about that. So, There's also other programs that I was in Saturn, Saving the Children, Siberia, which James Rink and I did some regression, Sheila the She-Hulk, Lakoya, Hawk Woman, right, James? I have another altar, Elka, Soel, and then I'll tell you a little bit about the 99, which has to do with our DNA. That's why I went over the bloodlines, okay? So I'm going to read a little story. This is, some of you told me that you've also had some memories or dreams where you're naked or you're in, minimal clothing and you're being hooked up to these machines. CERN right here is part of SOG, which is SOG, Special Operations Group, or GLASS. What they do is they'll hook up certain people to see what abilities you have, to see if you can go through portals, to see if you can go remote view someone, go see what they're doing. Like if you have a daughter and you're like, I wonder what she's doing. So instead of, you can't get a hold of her because you're busy, but in your mind you're like, oh, okay, I see what she's doing. Because that's called remote viewing. And a lot of us, we have that natural ability, but the ones that didn't come into this earth with that ability, they'll hook them up to a screen and they're like, let's see what you know. Okay? So there's a difference between that kind of super soldier and the other kind of super soldier, which is the ones, we had all the near-death experiences, the drowning, the sexual abuse, the fragmenting. Okay, there's a difference between that. And you guys can ask me that later, or I can tell you, but right now I'm just going to read a little bit about the Sheila, the She-Hulk. Like I said, this is my first presentation ever. I have a YouTube channel, and I always get nervous, even on my YouTube channel, because this is my story. So, before I go into the Hulk, okay, I hear you. I have to do something really hard. All right, so I got to tell you guys what happened to me. I was married for 18 and a half years. He was a cat, I was a cat. It was hell at home. I would get bruises. Thank goodness not in front of the kids. And so I'd go to work with long sleeves, I had bruises here, they would always ask me, what's that? I'm like, oh, I hit myself in the cabinet door. Yeah. They wouldn't believe me, I would read their mind, but I'm like, I can't go to my chief, I can't go to my husband's chief at the time, because what if they let him go, what if they fire me, what about the kids, what about the money, all that, right? So, there was infidelity and throughout my marriage, and I just was tired. One night, they invited me to go to a Halloween party across the street. This is hard, guys. But I've said it before, so I'm going to say it again. Because you guys have to learn who you are. I'm just telling you my story, because it's my story. And if you believe it or not, I don't really care. Not that you know what I mean? It's like, because it's my story. Now, what I do care about is you all knowing who you are. What happened to you? Why did it happen? Were you in this program? What I meant by I don't care is I have been criticized through all these years that I started speaking in 2018. I had my awakening in 2017. I've been criticized. Really, Vero? By my family, my friends. You're going to tell them the truth. My mom, before I left, she's like, Vero, because she finally understood what a super soldier is. She finally believed me. She said, don't talk. Don't tell them everything. My little sister, don't tell them everything. What if they kill you? I said, they already tried. They can't stop me because I'm eternal. If somebody comes in and shoots me, that's all right. I'm eternal. I go back to whoever made me, right? Whoever I'm from. The Christos heart, the crystal heart. My true essence. The body is just the body, but our soul is eternal, like I said in the beginning of the talk. So, all right. So to make a long story short, they gave me a drink in this Halloween party. My ex-husband didn't want to go. My kids were taken care of by my sister. The guys tried to rape me in this situation. I run to my house. I called my husband at the time. He's working. He didn't want to get the day off. I said, look, and I had already worked 45 hours that week. They had me on Adderall as a police officer because they said I had ADHD. I have what they call dissociative identity disorder and chronic PTSD, so I'm always grinding. I'm always like this inside, but you got your game face on because of all the pain they made you go through. Not only in the programs here on Earth, but the programs in space and underground and the other, Pluto, Neptune, Saturn, you name it. And so what ended up happening is he comes home, beats me up, and I pass out. I don't remember grabbing my weapon. I remember going like this, and I remember going like this, and I said, he doesn't love me. My children are better off without me because he has a $100,000 insurance, life insurance on me. They'll be fine. I'm done with this pain. I ain't special. He's told me, he's broken me down with those programs. You're ugly, you're this, you're stupid, you're blah, blah, blah. And I had that same programming when I was a kid. My mom, you're never gonna amount to anything. Now we're cool, right? We're cool. But back then, it's like, not even God wins you that, you won't shut up. And I'm like, because I might. And ever since that we're little, our parents tell us, don't do that, you're gonna get hurt. And you're like, but in your spirit, the kid wants to jump, and if he jumps and scrapes his knee, well then, okay, that's what he wanted to do, you know? As a kid, of course, you have to like parent, you have to parent your kids and all that. But once you're there of age, like say, I would say like, you know, of age, and it's like, you gotta let them be who they are, right? So I ended up shooting myself. And I felt this hot, just hot everywhere, like that, and I followed. And I end up I wake up, and they're doing this to me. They put a velvet thing over my face because they put a tube here, and I still have my scars, because my lung collapsed, my left lung collapsed, and this boobie, I'm being real, was up here. You know, it was like detaching it. And the doctors thought I was going to lose that. They took 20 doctors to save me. They took almost all of my large intestine out. And then, you know, I had other surgery the year after that because I had a hernia after that. But my ex-husband at the time with my kids didn't show up for 3 days. He changed my name, didn't want anybody to know what happened to me, didn't want anybody to visit me. The police departments, they both gave their backs to me, both his police department and my police department, because there was a second bullet. I'm not gonna go there. It wasn't me. So they did what they call blackball you. Blackball you means you can't ever try and be a police officer or going back into the military, etc., etc. It was really tough. I was in the hospital for a month and a half. I died for 3 days. My mom had to call everybody from Mexico. My mom had to call. She finally talked to my ex, and he's like, they gotta see her. She's dying. She's gonna go. And so, what I know is that this is me, okay? I was in the hospital. I opened my eyes, and I saw myself in the hospital nightgown. And I get up from my bed and I see all these beans on the floor. They're like half, the bodies are cut in half. They're like a charcoal purple color, their bodies. They're like this on the monitor. And I'm like, ooh, holy F, I don't want to step on them. Where am I? You know, their hair color was black, all jaggedy. They had yellow eyes. They were staring at me like, who are these things? Why are they here? Right? And then I said, I have to get out of here. I have to find a doctor or nurse because I understood that I was in a hospital. I don't like to say real lies because it's real lies. I'm very weird about that stuff. Anyway, so like good morning, I don't like to say good morning because then you're going to mourn in a good way. How is mourning good, right? That's why I say hola, hola. All right, so so I see this white light around the doorway, and I want to get close to you guys, but anyway. So I open it, and then I'm in my hospital gown again, in my hospital room, but the beans are gone. I see my dad in the left corner. My dad committed suicide when I was 13, okay? So So I see him in the corner, I'm like, Papi, no me quiero ir, I don't wanna go back to this earth. They're hateful. They hate people like me. They hate people that love unconditionally. They hate people that will stand up for their right to be who they are. So I hugged him and cried and cried. He said, no, you have your 2 kids, you still have your mission, you gotta go back. Tienes que regresar, whether you want to or not. And I stay there crying with my dad, holding on to him. And I'm back in my body and it's like, what am I doing here? I started pulling all these tubes. I have these scars everywhere. And I'm cut open this way, tubes everywhere. I'm in pain. So I had to be there for a month and a half. My ex-husband at the time, came and said, you have to go to the psych ward because I don't want you home with the kids. So I was in the psych ward. They had me on Wellbutrin. They had me on all this medication. And then he leaves me alone. I don't know how I did it, but I was able to learn how to patch myself and things like that. He would have his aunt come and check on me and stuff, maybe stay once or twice a week. He left with the other woman. And I'm like, oh, wow. So then I did the whole Christian thing, because I was a Christian. You know, I love the real Jesus, I do. I love the masters, because the master Maitreya, Master Yeshua came to me, okay, when I had my awakening. So it's like, well, what do I do now? I got the 40 days or 49 days of the firefighter, that book that they have out in the journal, that if you ask God for 30 days or 49 days and believe that your ex-husband or ex-wife is going to come back, that he's going to come back. Well, he came back, but then we ended up getting a divorce, to make a long story short. So I lost everything because he didn't want me to have the house. I was in the streets. Good thing is that I was able to live with my sisters until I got my disability. He took me to court every month, every year, whatever, to try and take my kids away. It was pretty tough. I only tell you this because this is my first presentation here in Las Vegas, and next year I probably won't talk about it. If they ask me, I will, but I have to get it out. So it's part of the mission, and what they did is they did an Omega programming. When I was a police officer, they took me, we did the Red Man drill, which we had to hit each other and beat each other up and subdue, and you got to prove that you're strong and that you can take somebody down, that you're not going to get sexually hurt out there and not go home. They say, who's going to go home, you or them? So they program you. You're going to go home, right? Because you're the cop and you got family and all that stuff, and that's part of the programming. So they took me to hypnotherapy because I was like, what the hell is going on? So they hypnotized me. To this day, I have a feeling that it's Omega programming. So they instilled this skill switch on me. And that was when I was listening to Kill Yourself. I saw the blood, you're not needed. I saw blood on my bed, and that's when I shot myself because I'm like, I don't need to be here. But then I had the awakening. So what they do is they try and have you self-destruct, or they try and have you kill yourself before you have the awakening of being a whistleblower. That's what I am. I'm their enemy. Because when I was in the army, I swore that I would go up against all enemies. When I was a cop too. Well, now I'm disclosing. Susan Long was a cop too. She's a super soldier. I love you, sister. Don't cry. Woo! But we're here, right? We're here to disclose the truth, our truth, about the secrets of the government they don't want us to tell you. So I'm just going to go on a lighter note and tell you about my Sheila, the She-Hulk. Is that okay? I'm not going to cry no more. They told me, don't cry because people are going to think you're unprofessional. And I'm like, okay. Let me get my game face off. And it's hard to do sometimes because this is real. Your body's real, right? But then your mind's like, this is just an illusion. So it's like, yeah, but we're in a human body, so we feel. We gotta compare stories, right? Okay. So Sheila, I'm just gonna read real quick, and then I read really fast, I promise. And if you have any questions after, please let me know. gosh, here we go. I need some glasses. I just turned 50 in February. I'm so excited. I'm going through menopause, guys, so. Yeah. My sister had to get, she was like, take these, menopause pills before you kill anybody. And I'm like, thank you. I was like, I don't want to be 50. But then, after I turned 50, anybody have glasses I can borrow? Oh, here, I got them. I'm really excited, guys, because after all the programming, after all that stuff, that happened to me, they had me on the medications, like I said. I ended up weighing 271 pounds. I don't know if I have a picture here. Whenever you guys want to come up, you can see it. 271 pounds. I started breaking off the clonazepam and all that stuff in half. And then I freed myself. I was able to heal my DNA, my body, by speaking to myself, by forgiving myself. That's why I named it Unchained Hearts, because I was able to forgive myself for doing this. Because the enemies will be like, really going to leave your kids? How selfish. For years I hated my dad for doing that, but now I understand. We have free will. But then they told me, if you leave this realm, you're going to have to come back. And I said, I don't want to come back. I want to do it right. So what my motto is, I can't go home, so I'm going to go big. Okay. Meaning helping others, okay, doing my mission. Sheila the She-Hulk, remote view with James Ray. Thank you, James. I see my clone, and I'm going to be going back and forth like she, he, me, okay? I see my clone in an upright water cryogenic region time. The liquid colors are green, yellow, and blue. The body itself is of a female naked. Her hair is reddish blonde, her body and skin perfect. She is waiting to be awakened. The tank is approximately 6 feet wide by 20 feet wide. So I'm in a cryogenic tank, okay? With fluids and all that. They have me connected, my back is connected, my neck is connected. They're giving me shock treatments now to wake my clone up. I feel pain and my eyes are wide open now. She feels tubes stuck in her back, torso, and spinal cord. I feel something inside my nose. I get a sense that I have just been used by the CIA in the sex kitten program as an assassin, which I am that too. I am now being taught how to shapeshift. There are scientists around her. She is being taken out of the cryo tank. A scientist by the name of Janine Klavosky is beside her. My body is now asleep. So they lay me flat on this metallic slab, and I'm naked, but then they give me this little bra and fanny thing, and they unhook me. And what's weird, guys, is that here on the 3D, what I call, being like right now, where we pinch yourself and you feel yourself, okay, here. I was going to doctors for epidural shots, because to this day I have to sleep with these braces, because my hands fall asleep. I have the cervical radiculopathy here. They were supposed to take 4 vertebrae out of my neck, because they're still bone on bone. I have so many hernias in my lower back. It's like, yeah. So this clone, this body, when I was doing the regression with James, I was feeling everything, the pain. I got the migraine because I felt myself shape-shifting. I was like really in pain for 3 days after I did the regression, because your clone feels, your DNA is still connected somehow, your spirit, you know what I mean, to these things. So here in the 3D, I was going and getting shots in the lower back, and they gave me this gas thing, but another thing, if you know you're a super soldier or been used for this stuff, is you have very high tolerance for pain. So, they gave me the gas thing to try and put me to sleep when they, did the shots, but I could see everything and hear everything. And so the doctor, the specialist says, you see this thing along her spine, this black thing that's going around her spine. And I'm like, what? So I told my sister, I started crying. She doesn't know what the heck I'm talking about, but it's called the octopus. The one thing that they had us, you two, Susan, they had you, and James, they had you hooked up, and Misha. And so that's evidence. In other words, what I'm trying to say is evidence from here in this realm to the other realms that you have pain or you wake up. James, and Susan, all y'all. We sometimes wake up with scratches and things like that because we're in a different program. You know what I mean? Okay, let me read this. Okay. So I look at my arms and legs and ask myself, why are they so long? I am now fighting out Janine because she's injecting me yellow phlegm coming out of my nose. I scream out, stop! They give me shock treatments. I am shot up with yellow, black, and green goo, a total of 16 times in a 24-hour period. Janine asked me to calm down, that I'm here for humanity, to help the greater good. She hands me a mirror, and I'm about 6 foot 4 inches tall. So everything starts looking up. I start what they call Frankenstein and hulking out. And so what's cool is that here on Earth, a friend of mine that I now know, he's a super soldier, and the whole family, James Ring, Jamin Vasquez, the Vasquez family, he remembered me being in the cryo tank, and he had not watched my YouTube videos or anything like that. But anyway, let me go back to the awakening real quick. It was February of 2017. I was watching Max Spears. I was like, oh my God, this really happened to me. I'm not crazy. And I was definitely, I'm like, if there's a real God or entity out there that loves me, that is real, like, is it consciousness, is it source, what? I had my rosary, I was programmed in all religions, okay? I just didn't know. I'm like, help me, whoever I am or whoever you are, God? But I don't like to call that our creator God, because there's a lot of gods here, and there's AI gods and all kinds of stuff. I just wanted to know who the one was.
We're all gods.
Exactly. We're all gods. Having a human experience, like they say. But it's more than that. We have missions. So this light comes out of my chest, and I fall to the floor on my knees. I'm sorry. It's like I really just want to do what I'm supposed to do here. I want to just continue. And all of a sudden there's like a light outside and like a sound outside, and then my friend and I, we go outside. I was living with my best friend at the time. And then even the neighbors heard it. But there was nothing there. Isn't that weird? So think about your awakening. If you want to know more about the Hulk, because I don't want to bore you, some people are already yawning, which is fine. I don't care. I love you guys. Let's just go on with this, and then any questions and stuff like that later, okay? So I'm going to go through Project 99, the Hulk main mission. A collaboration with other factions and realms, being entities forming an alliance. That's Project 99. So when I told James about this, I started seeing license plates that were 99. Misha and I were talking, and right, we were talking about the 99. My phone number ends in 99. So what is the 99? Okay, I'll tell you right now. Ask me if I forget. There is also a connection with secret societies, portals, CERNs, loops, time travel, and DNA. We have to come here and change the timelines to make sure that all humanity is taken care of, and like the best outcome for everybody, the children. All right, we're saving children here. And places involved were DOMs, deep underground military bases, are involved. Australia, when I saw it, I know DOMs are everywhere. But mainly what I saw was Australia, Denmark, Suffolk, Virginia, and Texas. Tucson, Arizona, where I'm from, Sandia, under Las Vegas, it's right here, under us. Suppression technologies, underground, blackout. So what they want to do is, they want to black this whole thing out. They want to wipe out humanity. So that's why, in a way, they make the Hulk, and they made all of our other altars to try and change those timelines. We're guardians of this earth. We're working together with Mother Earth, because Mother Earth is so powerful. If she wanted off this planet, she could just blink and get us out of here, right? She's like, I'm tired of you, bump us off. But it's a game. It's the chess game. It's okay. Then the negative will say entity goes this way, then we go this way, and then they play that war, and then we go this way. So it's a game, and let's actually have fun with this game. I was thinking about this last night. It's like if you're playing Halo or Battlefield 4 or whatever, and you get distracted because you want the biggest and baddest ASS suit and the nicest sword and the biggest gun and the crown, the diamond. We're gonna talk about that hopefully. Relationships, really? Do you know if it's a real relationship legit twin flame, a fake twin flame, a divine counterpart, or a CIA love bite. Take your choice. I'm done with that game. I'm running away. I'm like, I don't want to get married no more. But if it happens, right? But anyway, what was I talking about? Okay. Places involve the domes and all that, suppression technologies, the blackout. The Hulks also aid in seeking to change timelines and help the greater good. May I have my channel back? You guys remind me what I was talking about earlier. There are, however, positive people in NeuroCore, CERN, Umbrella Corporation. Okay, so the 99, what I saw was 9 strands of the RNA, DNA, mRNA, DNA, and the 9 strands here. So us real super soldiers, you guys, when you find out, come to any of us and we'll help you. That I mentioned earlier. They have the DNA strands on the Hulk, what I saw. It's red and then green. And what they do is they take from our essence, from our soul. They also take tissues from us. They grow other clones. They use our blood type because they want to make other super soldiers to attack us super soldiers, the Hulk. So what they did is they did the zombie virus. That has to do with Project Umbrella. If you ever see, what's that movie? Resident Evil. And that stuff is real. Say again? Jumper.
It's going to be called Jumper.
I've seen that one. Speaking of jumpers, thanks for reminding me. There's a jump gate that I was involved in Hollywood. Bye. See you later. Bye. There's a jump room there. I served with Max Spears. We went to Mars when I was in Hollywood in LA. We were staying with children, and there was 33 of us, which is weird because my friend Jim that remembered me, he's like, there was 33 of us in different groups, but they only select 6 to 7 to go and jump here, jump there, and fight off this thing. Oh, that's what I remember. It always seemed like I was charging 33 for some certain things, back in the day, and I'm like, why is it 33? Well, it's a Masonic and Illuminati number, and then I thought, oh my God, I was a cop. Was I a Mason? Because I had to pay every month their dues. For what? In case you got in trouble. Did they help me? No, they shut the doors. They just take your money and your buildings. So anyway, jump rooms, yeah. So the 99 is very important because they want our blood, they want our abilities to build these things, to keep going with their dumb wars, So this is Sheila the She-Hulk created by Umbrella. Bruce Banner's mind was white. So Bruce Banner, he is, right, Tom Cruise? Stan Lee, sorry. Oh, my bad. I was like, I know, because I was like, hey, which one was it? Like I said, I'm new to the terms. I just have the memories. So that's why, they told me earlier, before coming, you shouldn't be out in the spotlight here. You should just stick to your psychic abilities and reading. Stay home, bitch. Excuse my language. So sorry. Oh my God. Anyway, but I didn't stay home and I'm here because everybody has a story and you guys will have these dreams because you're talking to me. You're going to have dreams. You're going to remember your abilities. You're going to start writing your story because I have that tendency. I don't mean to. Like even if I look at you or I touch you, oh my God! Like before coming, my neighbor, he had just moved in a month ago with his girlfriend and they had a baby. And she said, hey, how are you? And I'm like, oh, I'm the psychic girl that lives up there. And just follow the salt, because I put Himalayan salt to protect my kids, my cats, and all that. My whole complex, I'll protect everybody there. And so they came home 2 days before my conference. The girlfriend said, I'm watching your YouTube videos, my boyfriend's watching your YouTube videos, and he's going nuts. He's writing all these things down. He thinks he's a super soldier. What did you do to him? I'm like, my daughter was like, damn. Her mom comes up. What are you, a witch? I'm like, it's more complicated than that. We're all furry here, right? So, it's crazy. So if you gotta be careful with me because you have to be ready to start your mission if you want to talk to somebody like me. Because my love for you all is so big because I've been through pretty much almost everything. that I want you all to be happy. But remember your boundaries, because there's enemies out there that want to stump you and say that you're okay. And I'm like, really? All right, bye. See you, Felicia. All right, bye, Felicia. Okay, so the reason why they did the Hulk is because they wanted to fight off the zombies. And when we were bit by zombies, our Hulk can go through walls, psionic abilities. But even before the zombie bites the Hulk, we can levitate, we can cause earthquakes, and that's with the black goo, okay? I'll go into the goos in a little bit, but when they injected the black goo through here or whatever place, they augment our DNA so that we do our mission, so that we go in there, kick butt, and not cry because we're going to kill somebody that's bad. Because we're empathetic, right? So let me go into this. The wires in my back are disconnected and my body placed on a metal slab. Okay, I went through that. Green and black goo are pumped in my system. So we have black. I wonder how I can make this bigger. I guess I can't. But black is to cancel some emotions and augment superpowers such as strength. The green one is augmentation and healing. Remember, James, you were asking yesterday? Yellow is used for stasis. Blue, fluorescent, yellow, green, what I saw in my remote viewing, is used for healing, okay? And the reason why we're green is because of that quaalude that they inject us with. It's part of the nanites that they give us to Hulk out. Pink is for prolonged stasis. Okay, types of goos, here we go. Oop, can't read the top. Types of goos used in the Hulk process. Black is to cancel some emotions and augment superpowers such as strength. Even if you're a tiny person, when you get mad, never mind. You cause some damage. Or you can mess up the electricity. Like my laptop wouldn't turn on, right guys? And you're a special person, I don't want to say who you are, an electrical engineer, and it wouldn't work. So I had to use James' ring, and yesterday, it was fine. But you have the, you know what I mean? So if you, sir, I don't know who you are, but when you walk in that room, I'm like, damn, look at that energy. You know what I mean? You have some psychic powers, you have some reading powers. I know you're reading me. I read you back too. We all have different abilities. So I also say real quick before I go into this, shield yourself. I do the invisible cloak, I do the black shield because there's some people out there that send you these ugly thoughts. Like, you know? It's like, no. Some people do not deserve to see your light. Oh. But that black cloak of protection, whatever color you want to pick, it's you, the creator, that does that. Okay, so green is for augmentation and healing, yellow is for stasis, blue, I already read that. Blue is for blue and fluorescent, yellow, green used for healing, pink for prolonged stasis, the Hulk laboratory. Cages and rabbits, monkeys, dogs, and a few full-grown reptilians are in cages while my Hulk is being hulked out or Frankensteining, and that happened to James Rings too. The Hulk Blue Ranger, he's going to talk about that soon. So the testing begins with animals and the humans. There's 12 scientists wearing a white rubbery suit with umbrella, emblem on the left lapel. Most doctors are human, some are Nordic, and I see the spider beings. Like, and then I see spider beings that have the gray with the almond eyes. Oh, I don't know if I have that drawing, but ask me, okay? My daughter, when she was in junior high, she made this gray alien and the ship, and I'm like, how did she know that I went through that? This is before my awakening, and I have it now in my bedroom because I'm like, wow, she saw something. I'm not crazy, you know? Okay, so now Frankensteining. Oh. Frankensteining of Sheila the She-Hulk. Sheila the She-Hulk is in the huge cryogenic tank floating in the tank. Oh, I already went through that. Okay, I went through that already, guys. So, I was shot up 16 times in 24 hours. Her clothes are ripping, blah, blah, blah. Her skin is green now. The process is extremely painful. Okay. So, Hulk equations and generational virus. When I was doing my remote viewing regression with James, I saw all this. Throughout my life, I see numbers. I see constellation numbers, and I don't know what that is. I see just a bunch of numbers. And I know I was a pilot with Waffen, but like Penny, she has her story, but me, the dream flashback that I had was that these CIA female and two males came to me asking for the equation in my head, and I was a pilot, and everybody else in my team just went down. I was the only survivor. They were trying to get the equation for me, and I shook my head, and I didn't let them see it. So it's weird how I see all these numbers, and you guys might have similarities like that. So compounds in lab including AT, A5, FG, GT, GX, TZ. The G is used for healing, allowing wrapping, and new generation variants, okay? So you rebuild your muscles, your cells, and all that. Causing quick shape-shifting abilities usually is lethal. So when they mix a mixture of G virus femto technology, the virus off the world is for covert ops. Okay, I just was writing some notes. So the main equation that they use for the male for James is X10 Xylon XY. And for the women, it's the same thing except the X's. All right. The G are used enzymes for Golgotha, what they call Golgotha, can be used to revive dead tissues but create huge amounts of mutations. This, if you guys have more questions, just ask James or myself. X programming, the strands for mutations and replacing another program. Z is for zombie virus. You guys have seen the Z wars, right? And so because we have healing powers in our DNA and we have these abilities, they use us, okay? There's something special with you. I gotta talk to you after. So in never mind, I'm going to Project Crystal Gates. I can't do that, that's on Sunday. So we have time for, oh my gosh, we have 10 minutes for questions. I'm gonna go ahead and turn that off, and you guys can ask me questions or whatever you all want. If you have questions for Susan, Frank, James, anyone. Go ahead. Okay.
Please consider supporting Supersoldier Talk by purchasing your own Neo Meditation device. Your Neo Meditation device will help you reduce stress, integrate trauma, enhance intuition, enhance clairvoyance, and enhance creativity. Get yours now at www.neologicaltech.com.